Hello, and welcome to Rory's Brainworks, where we get creative and see if it works. Today, we will be exploring the Warlock harness. If you've been following my TikTok or my Instagram, you will know I've been making rigs inspired by the classes from Dungeons & Dragons. These are the two worlds that I love, adore, and am passionate about most. Rope bondage, D&D. That should be evident from my channel. And I thought the Warlock harness had a little bit of extra uniqueness other than the Ranger one that I had done to necessitate a tutorial for it. But before we can get to that goody goodness, we must first bring up safe, sane, and consensual safety. Be sure to have some safety shears with you at all times. You can always get new rope, but you can't get a new life. And consensual. Marie and I are both consenting adults. Communication is key. Now, before we take a look and examine this Warlock harness, we must first thank my sponsors, Knothead Nylon.
Knothead Nylon is the destination for all your premium nylon rope bondage needs. Easy to clean, water resistant, up to 1,100 pounds of weight load, and in a wide array of beautiful, vibrant colors, Knothead Nylon will slake your rope desires. At checkout, put in discount code RORY10 for 10% off.
Alright, let's actually examine what's going on here. That gives it a little bit of its unique flair. It's certainly not the weaving that's going on down here. We've done a few weaving videos before, and it's actually quite standard as far as weaving is concerned down here. What is different is that usually the weave will go around the body and then come back another way. We're instead going up the body, creating a design, and then coming back down, which is what you get a lot with these triangles, which I thought were very Eldritch in nature. The entire design has ideas of ribs or maybe grasping hands. It actually reminds me kind of like the sign of Lucifer. It's got a beautiful symmetrical Eldritch flair to it that I really enjoy. So one of the things you'll notice is that the way the weave works comes up from below the breast, across the ribs, up towards the shoulder, towards the other shoulder, and back down again. That is our basic weave pattern here, and also the Eldritch pattern we got going up here. And then we just utilize cow hitches and half hitches. This particular design right here, I've been really experimenting with a lot. That's two half hitches surrounding a cow hitch, so it's two half of a cow. Right now I'm just kind of calling it the cow half, because it's like taking a cow hitch and then splitting it apart into two halves. Half hitches, cow hitch. Cow split in half. I'm sure we'll come up with something better. If you got any better ideas, put it down in the comments. So the black rope gives us the main base of the rig, and then the purple will be our accent ropes that give it a little bit more flavor. Like I'm doing with these classes, I'm trying to do them with just two ropes. Two ropes, each a different color, kind of represent the feel of a class. Especially something potentially nefarious as the Warlock really should strike sharp, jagged patterns. And that's something that the cow hitch does really well, sharp patterns. As you can see, when you're coming up this way, it creates really good acute angles, which is what you got going on right here. Not the best at obtuse angles, so if you need to go from one place to another acutely, then the cow hitch is really that way to go. Gives you that hinge angle. All right, let's take this apart. Start from the beginning. So I got the bite of my rope, the middle of my rope, and I'm creating the base of the rig. That first rope always creates the form of the rig for me when it comes to aesthetic floor shibari. The first rope creates the form, and the second rope, or other ropes, mostly create the filigree. You fill in to give it some life, give it some greater definition. So, got the middle of my rope, and we're gonna be doing a girth hitch, but it's gonna be a bit of a wonky one, because instead of just going over the width of the body, we're actually gonna make a detour up here, across the back of the neck, beneath the armpit, around the neck, beneath the armpit again, and we're gonna meet up in the back. Got the bottom of my rope right here. Just gonna pull through. We're gonna create that girth hitch. We're gonna give it some tightness. Marie, how's that pressure there? Awesome. I'm gonna go down this way towards the bottom of the breast, around the ribs. I had to put Marie's arms back on because it did not want to stay below the armpits. We had to put the arms back on. Now, Marie is a bit of a brat, so she tends to grab at ropes a lot of the time, which is why I keep the arms off if it's not necessary. But, you know, needs must as the devil drives. So we went below the breast. We want to keep it just a little bit loose as we go up and around obliquely towards this shoulder line right here. And then we're going to create our first cow hitch. I know I got a dark color, and I apologize for that because it makes it a little bit difficult to see what's going on. I have every faith in your ability to see what's going on here. What we're going to do is create a cow hitch, and oh, how many times I've created cow hitches on this channel. So we're going to start by going over and around the shoulder line rope with our tail. Tighten that up just a smidgen, because whatever tightness we provide right here, the cow hitch is going to make sure that everything we did before that going down towards the breast, will stay at that length. It will not cinch. So once we've gone down and under, we're going to go outside of our line and over it. Now, all we have to do is do the opposite of what we just did over here, which means going under, around, and through. So we've gone under that shoulder line right there, and then we're going to cross over it and through that loop we just created. We're going to tighten that up, and that is our cow hitch. Now you can do the cow hitch in the opposite direction. So when we originally came over, we went over and then around. You can start by going under and over and under. It's basically the exact opposite of this one, which can be used for particular ties. If you recall the dress that I did for the bell-inspired rig. For the most part, using the over method looks a lot more aesthetically pleasing. So we'll just do the same on the other side. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, cow hitches. Boo-da-ba-da-bee-da-ba-ba, creating shapes. Like I said, the cow hitch creates those very acute angles. It is a hinge, like a door hinge, linking two things together and creating great shapes. And then what's gonna happen is we're gonna go down the other way. We come down this way, under this breast, same kind of pressure. We wanna make sure that it has equal amounts of pressure, and then we'll meet up in the back. I apologize for the dark rope. It's a part of the design that I created, and it does make this part a little bit difficult to see, but I've tried to adjust the lighting on both the camera and inside the room. So once we've come down from the breast, we're gonna come over this way, and now we need to create friction. We need to create a tension knot, a friction knot, in order to make sure that this area, that all the things we've created thus far, does not come undone. And normally, the way to do that is to begin weaving. We'll start by going over, under, over, under, and then over ourselves again. But that, some would be content with that. Maybe even put a half hitch right here. Some might be content with that, but to me that's still a bit shabby. So I am going to show you a different method. It's similar to a bula bula single column, just not around a single column. So we're going to go over both of these, and then we're going to go under this one right here. So you can see we're over both of these lines right here and under this one right here. So we're going to go over and through this loop that we created right here, tighten that up, and that is way more solid. The important thing is that we have the ropes coming back out this way. This will be important because we're still using these, but we're not actually using them right now. So we're going to move on to the accent rope. All right, got the purple rope, and I'm just going to attach it on this side. I'm going to attach it to both sides of it with a girth hitch. Cinch that up. I'm going to use the bulk of this knot to make sure that this girth hitch does not go anywhere. And I put it on this side because I'm going this way. So we're going to follow this black line right here to the front. I'm going to keep it a little bit loose right here as we make our way along. I'll keep the looseness because if I keep it too tight around this area right here, I won't be able to pull it down in order to get the design. So you give it a little bit of looseness, makes it easier. Since we're weaving, we're following this line right here. It went under, so we're going over, which then brings us to this spot right over here. Now this is where we will be creating our two half hitches on either side. So I'm going to start by making a loop and sticking it underneath here. Now it's important to have the tail end of your rope on the inside, because we're going to come up through this loop, cinch that up. Make sure that the rope that's in this line right here is as loose as you want it to be, because once it's in here and a part of this half hitch, it is not going anywhere from below here. So you want that to be the tightness you want it to be. Wonderful. I have done so. And you create this half hitch. Now since it was on the inside, we had our tail on the inside, it's going to make it look a little bit better because we're going to do the same thing on that side too. Essentially, we're going to be creating a half hitch right here, which is then going to create this big loop right here, which is going to have one of the black ropes come up, grab it in a cow hitch, and back down. It kind of looks like a clasp to a cloak, which is what I was going for. It creates a lot of the grasping effects of that you'll see at the end of it. So what we're going to do, create a small little loop, put it beneath that line, making sure that our tail end is on the inside track. We'll go through that loop. Tighten it up. I'm going to loosen that just a smidge so we have more of this clasp right here. And you can pull from this side to see exactly how much tension and how much slack you need for the clasp we're going to be doing. I'm just going to give it just a little bit more. Feed that through. Wide clasps. Yeah, bigger clasps. There, we have our two half cow right here. Two half hitches and a cow hitch. Hugging up on each other, being cool. Great. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So after putting on this clasp right here, I realized I told you the wrong thing over here on this clasp. What I meant to say, not to keep the tail in the inside loop, but the edges of the half hitch on the inside loop. So as we come around here, we put that loop through and the tail will be on this side going through. Well, it's kind of the opposite. So now we're going to put our tail over it and go underneath, around, and this way. That way, these loops right here are closest to the cow hitch. I instead had this the opposite way, which made it look a bit wonky. I have now since fixed that. I apologize. It's always good to keep your mistakes in there. It's a learning experience for both me not to be too quick with myself and to think it over, and for you to show that, sometimes people like me still make mistakes like that. That's me being too excited about teaching and wanting to show you things that I'm happy about. So we have these two clasps up here. We're going to take our tail now and we're going to weave down through here. We're going to follow our neighbor rope right here, and it is currently going over this one right here. You probably can't see that, so we're going to start by going under, which means we're obviously going over this one right here. So saith the Rory. So we're going to wrap around down here and go around the back. And once we come around through this way, we're going to go underneath and around that, because we're going to go back this way, create some tension. But before we do that, we're going to take this rope, we're going to go back up this way and clasp. So I'm going to send these two sides of the ropes in opposite directions. This one is going to go underneath here and that way, and this one is going to go underneath on this side and up the other way. And once up and over, we're just going to attach some cow hitches right in here. Super easy. Make sure that we have the appropriate amount of tightness going on right here. It's just one of the times that we have this feeling of grasping. We have the cow hitch coming over, grabbing this clasp, pulling it back. The same thing will be happening over here. We'll have another triangle going right here, and the cow hitch will be grasping right here and pulling back. Same on the other sides as well. So these two strands, when they follow back down this way, are going to go underneath these top two lines, and they're going to create just an overhand knot. It's important that they stay above these two lines right here, because they're going to be going down this way and then back around, which means this one, technically, the right one, has to be fed through this girth hitch again in order to make it feel just a wee bit more symmetrical. Cool, now they're going to go that way. That's important for what we're doing with the purple rope next. Going back to the purple rope, we're going to apply the tension, pull down this way, and start heading this way. Marie, how's that feel? Cool. And as we come back up this way, we'll continue the weave, following our neighbor rope right here. It's going over, so we're going to start by going under. Under and then over, and then what's going to happen here is that we're going to go around this way with this triangle, which means that we have to put a clasp right here, which we have ready and available for us right behind here. Yeah, the steps of going back and forth sometimes is a little bit awkward at first, but you'll get it. So this one's a little bit tricky because it's floating. We have a floating cow hitch that we gotta be putting on. But with perseverance and extreme ability, we can do it. So make sure you have the appropriate amount of tightness, because that is also gonna dictate where this hitch is going to sit. You can pull it down, up and down, easy enough. Sorry for jostling you, Marie. That way we can get the right fit and picture it. So as soon as you got it right where you want it, hold it in that position and then tighten it from the origin, so from the back, and that should be exactly where I want that to go. Good. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over this and then under this one. In order to stay symmetrical, I'm going to have to go under this one and over the other side as well. Now that we're clasped on the other side, we're going to come over here and clasp on this side. I imagine this is easier if you have a rope model that's actually helpful. Unlike some people's rope models sometimes. Stupid pandemic. Won't let me use live people right now. Nothing bad against you, Marie. Sort of. I mean, a little bit, yeah. That was a little bit against you, I apologize. Tighten that just a little bit more. Coolio. And it'll go back down that way. Awesome. Well, let's just go back down this way while we're here. Following our neighbor rope, it started out going over, so we shall go under, over, under. So saith the Rory. Yes, we are a chorus, and we shall send that around, where we're going to be connecting a few ropes together. So I fed this line through the girth hitch again, and this one's just going to come over, and we'll do an overhand knot for those bad boys. And I'm going to put that over here so you can see what's going on down here. Let's come back around. I'm going to apply a little bit more tension. Pull, pull, pull. And then this one is being depressed. This one is being free and flighty. So we're gonna put that one down, bring up our depressed friend. We're gonna go over this as well. Since we went over, we must then go under. Aha! Which then gives us a great opportunity to create a loop. So we're gonna start actually going through this area right here, creating a loop down here, which we will go up and through. Secure as a mofo. Now I do have about 2 feet of this purple rope left, and maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet. Oh no, actually it's probably the same amount. What I was able to do last time was to take the individual ropes and go around one last time, and I think I do have that ability this time too. I'm gonna stick these black ropes underneath here so it looks a little bit even, and then I'm gonna send the black and the purple together through. What you wanna do with those ropes, you can do. This is what I've chosen to do because I have the ability to. Some of you might be running out of more rope. Marie is a bit small, so she often gives me more opportunity to mess with rope. Now when coming around this way, I made sure that my black was on the bottom because we started out with the black and then we had purples running down. So if we have the purple running down and have the black on the bottom, it kind of gives a sense of closure to it, like we're filling out the outline with the black and the purple remains on the inside. So we'll just weave that on through here. And as I come up this way, since we went over, that means I'm gonna go under this one and over this one. So what we're trying to do is connect to this part right back here. So we'll put a loop through, fit those in the loop, create a half hitch. We'll do the same thing with the other side too. We'll make sure that the black is on the bottom as we go up and weave through. Since we went under this way, that means we will go, that one was not straight, got it. Make sure your ropes are straight. We will go over and under, and we will then put a loop through, go through it, half hitch there. Tighten those up. I tried to get a bow in there, I just didn't have enough of it, so just barely able to get a surgeon's knot them together. But hey, we have completed it. It has come full circle, and you will notice that the back does tend to get like a little bit messy, but for the most part, it is it's all right. It's more structural in the back than it is for show, because the show is in the front. And it is a good show in the front. Once you clean it up a little bit, get the weaves nice and pretty, get the clasps just the way you like them, it just is a good show. You know, it's a slightly different weave. That's standard, but the way we got to the weave is not. You've entered a little bit of my thought process, and I hope you enjoyed the ride along the way. I hope you enjoy the Warlock harness as much as I do. It just has this look to it. It's sexy, evocative of Eldritch power, and I like it. Well, hey! I hope you had a lovely time learning from that tutorial as much as I did teaching it to you. Marie has decided that she was going to go commune with her patron as a warlock, and, well, I'm just gonna guess that she made a pact with the old ones. Something Cthulhian and horrific in nature. Pact of the Fiend. Yeah, she is quite devilish. We'll also explain some of the dead animals I found underneath my bed. Could be the cats, although they could be in cahoots together. That doesn't matter right now. I would be remiss if I did not bring up my other sponsors for today, the lovely people at Patreon. That's patreon.com/Rory's Brainworks, just like this YouTube channel. They are my rope vanguard. Are you okay? My colonizers of dreams, and without them, these rope endeavors would be way harder to accomplish. Thank you for spending your time with me. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this madness, and comment down below what kind of rope bondage things you would like me to teach you. As always, I'm Rory. This is my brain. I'm fairly certain it works. Be safe, and go create some art. Seriously, you okay?